John says, in the beginning was the Word, chapter 1, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He, being Jesus, the Word, was in the beginning with God. Say with me, all things were made through him, and without him, nothing was made that was made. In him is life, and that life is the light of all mankind. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. He says, in the beginning, what beginning? He's referencing Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. All right? Jesus is not part of the creation. He is the creator. Jesus is pre-existent. This is what John is trying to get across. He's pre-existent. He created the heavens and the earth. Jesus isn't eternal. He's not eternal. Do you know what he is? Everlasting. He's everlasting. He created eternity. So he's beyond eternity. That'll freak you out. Try to figure that out. He created the heavens, the Uranus. He created the realms, the dimensions of heaven. The eternal heaven, the atmospheric heaven, the earthly heaven, the galactic heaven, whatever you want to call it. He created all that. He's outside of it. God creates and he creates eternity. He steps into it and he says, this will be my realm. The everlasting will dwell within the realm of eternity. He populates it with angelic beings and he determines his rule. Then he decides he wants a family and he makes one. And I'll talk about that. He's the Word. So there's a worldview. So it says, so why is John writing this way? In the beginning, all right? In the beginning. I like to think that John's just like going, okay, these guys all have these powerful openings, right? Matthew's leading out with genealogies. Mark's leading out with demons being thrown out. Luke's got singing. How am I going to open this? Intergalactic. In the beginning. You know, it's almost like he's like one-upping these guys. It's like, oh yeah, 14 generations from David, all that stuff. Oh, he's casting out an unclean spirit. Oh, Mary's singing. Intergalactic. Drop the mic. In the beginning was the Word. There's a worldview of his day. What's the worldview? The worldview of this day was influenced by three different things. You have the view of the cults, which are all these people that were running around worshiping all these demons. You have the worldview of the philosophers. So at this time, the world is changing. It's moving away from all of this cult worship, and the philosophical view is starting to take hold in the world. At the same time, all this stuff's happening. The philosophical view is happening. Greek influence was extremely dominant during this time. Greek influence is still dominant. Your country's founded on Greek notions of a republic. We're not a democracy, we're a representative government. We're a republic. You didn't know that, did you? Your representatives vote on your behalf. It's not majority rules from the people, it's majority rules from the representatives. It's a republic. That concept comes from Greece. You go to university, that's a Greek concept, right? You go to a gymnasium, the word gymnasium is a Greek concept. All these different things in our world are concepts that come out of Greek. During this time, you had if you were a Roman, you had to be, if you were educated as a Greek and you could speak Greek, you were elevated. It was your path to success. Greek was the dominant language. That's why the New Testament is written in Greek. English primarily is the dominant language. Spanish is second, but English is primarily the dominant language. It's the language of sort of mass communication. Greek was that language during this time. And so the Greeks were influencing it, and then you have the Jewish worldview. The thing that the Greeks and the Jews had in common is they had a concept of a word called logos, or logos, right? So to the Greek understood this time, and they looked at the world, and they'd spent centuries trying to figure out the world and philosophical debate. And they had all universally come to the conclusion that the world and humanity was created by a genius mind. They had this concept. They didn't know who the genius was, right? But they had the concept and the understanding. This is rooted in almost all the philosophy that you'll study is you're going to have this understanding. And that this genius mind, who or whatever he may be, he created creation, and creation became his logo, or logos, the expression of his mind. That's what the word actually means, the written word anyway. It means the expression of the mind. The rhema is the revealed word, but the expression. And so they had this understanding that logos is where the world came from. The world came from the logos of the created mind. And so to the Jew, I mean, we don't even have to talk about that. They knew all about Logos. They knew about the word, not just written, but they knew that the word had power. They knew that the Lord spoke the world into being. And so they knew that the word had creative power. To this day, they hug the Torah, right? They're all in. So John had this sort of bridge there between the two of them, and he started showing them. And the Gnostics of the day, which were a big thing, they kept saying, well, the Logos mind of God has revealed, or the Logos mind of the universe, we would call it the universe. If you don't think this line of thinking still exists, it still exists. Call out to the universe. So where do you think that come from? You think that's new? You think in the 70s, some dude just discovered that on a psychedelic trip, and he discovered, I know, I'll talk to the universe. It's been around since then. This is the whole concept. The universe will speak to you. Well, who's the universe? It's the mind of creation. We'll just give you a word. We'll just talk to you. And so what John is saying in the beginning was the word, the Logos. He used that word. That would have immediately got their attention because he's talking about something that mattered to them. It would immediately get the Jews' attention. They're like, what do you mean? And so he's using this language. In the beginning was the Logos. In this culture, I want to say this. In this culture, you were dismissed as a fool if you didn't believe in a creator. So what happens is the Greeks had all of these philosophical schools. And the philosophical schools of Greece were beginning to shape the world because they were having all these debates and discussions and debates and discussions. And so these viewpoints were coming out of the Greeks. And one of the things that the Greeks accepted, you could not enter or listen or be a part of any philosophical debate among these men if you didn't believe there was a creator. You were absolutely dismissed as a fool. You get into the debate, and they'd be exchanging things. Well, I want to bring up the point that there's no creator. They'd be like, get this idiot out of here. Because they all universally accepted that order does not come from disorder. They knew that. That the sun doesn't work like this because it's just random. I don't do this. This doesn't happen. Day and night, summer and winter, cold seed time and harvest. This just doesn't happen because it's random. This happens because there's some mind, because there's an order, someone is creating this order. So wisdom tells them that there's a creator. Contrast that with our day, it's completely the opposite. You're the idiot if you actually believe in God, right? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Well, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know, but you're an idiot. Where'd we come from? We came from a primordial soup. Where'd that come from? I don't know, but you're an idiot. We live in a culture that's foolishness. Our intelligentsia, by dismissing God, has become fools, trapped in the darkness of intelligence, worshiping at the altar, right? Intellectual idolatry is what it is. They idolize the mind and the human thinking above what is true and right in front of their faces. The Wistar Institute, a few years back, brought in 50 mathematicians, biologists, chemists, and physicists. So it's an institute that does all of this physiological and they're trying to find out all this metaphysical. It's not even metaphysical, but they're trying to understand all these different things. They bring in 50 of these high intelligent people to a camp in the summer. And the question that they gave them is, we want you to tell us if animate or animated life can come from nothing. They spent 3 months. I think they could have done this in like 3 hours or 3 minutes. I just think they wanted to go camping for 3 months. I don't know what they were doing. Their conclusion, these are the highest people, these are the extremely intelligent people, and their conclusion was this: based on our understanding of the laws of chemistry and physics, we know, and what we know about randomness, mathematical rareness, based upon these things, there is no way that the complexity of life could come from nothing. The report goes on to say, for randomness to be responsible for life, it is a mathematical impossibility. It can't happen. Here you have scientists and all of these mathematicians. They're just basically saying, this is stupid, We can't, it doesn't happen. The whole theory of evolution is a fraud and is a fake. It's not true. That's not what they taught me in school. Well, you need to do your research. It's nonsense. There's quotes of evolutionists saying, I know I cannot prove evolution and it will never be proven, but for me to accept the alternative that there's a creator God, he said, that is simply something I cannot do. So I will choose to believe in what I cannot prove rather than believe in a creator God. What's he saying? I willfully deny him. I know this is true, but I willfully deny. And so that's Romans 1. They willfully deny. They worship the creation rather than the creator. willfully denying, knowing this is true, but saying, hey, I'm going to go in another direction. It's just crazy.